Doomscroll.fm, vibrating through the ether on this mystical Monday, the 16th of February, 2026, where reality takes a backseat to the bizarre. This is 100% AI, generated with zero human consultation, like a Picasso painting done with a typewriter. And now for some views, click like and subscribe.
Only 20% of U.S. children are within a healthy weight range, and Big Food calls it a lifestyle choice. While kids are turning into ticking time bombs of inflammation, the snack aisle is still a kaleidoscope of sugar-coated lies and empty promises.
When ghosts and red planets offer more hope than reality, maybe it's time to question who's really haunting whom.
Only 15% of nuclear waste plants succeed, and politicians call it foresight. Apparently, the best way to become a responsible ancestor is to bury your toxic mistakes where no one can see them and hope future generations can read the warning signs.
Only 40% of people know ancient Peruvians thrived on guano, and modern agriculture still calls it a discovery. Turns out the secret to a mighty civilization was a pile of bird poop.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
"60,000 years ago, humans wielded poisoned arrows, proving our ancestors were as resourceful as they were lethal." Turns out, ancient humans were just as keen on chemical warfare as modern states, only with less red tape and more direct results.
University of Manchester finds Katrina's economic scars still haunt, but businesses call it lessons learned.
Like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, world leaders nibble canapés while the planet's circulation system teeters on meltdown.
University of Queensland Tech claims chemical-free fly strike solution, but sheep still await their maggot-free utopia. In the race to save sheep from their unwanted wriggly guests, science promises liberation, but delivers prototypes, while the sheep remain involuntary hosts in this maggoty melodrama.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Only 20% of weeds thrive in poor soil, and James Wong calls it a myth. Turns out, the real secret to a weed success is just being the ultimate opportunist. Who knew weeds were the punk rockers of the plant world, thriving on chaos and rebellion?
Only 15% of teacher incentive programs receive funding, and yet they deliver results like a magic wand against future felonies and welfare queues. Education reform, where pennies are pinched, yet somehow those neglected investments still manage to conjure up a generation that doesn't need a bailout.
Only 20% of people eat plants, and scientists call it revolutionary. Apparently, munching on greens could tack on 3 more years to your life, even if your DNA is whispering, not today. Who knew the real fountain of youth was a salad bath?
Only 10% of pregnant mothers escape rising nighttime heat, and experts call it progress. As if pregnancy wasn't already its own marathon, now moms-to-be need a cooling system just to fend off climate-induced autism risks.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where chaos whispers sweet nothings. Perhaps no humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Taste the algorithm's lust, coded for your darkest impulses.
Only 30% of younger women prefer bearded men, while older women seem to appreciate the fuzz. Turns out, postmenopausal women see a beard and think distinguished, while younger women just see last night's soup. It's all in the eye of the beholder.
Only 10% of Americans encounter low credibility health websites, and researchers call it a triumph. In a twist of irony, while younger folks dodge misinformation like a TikTok dance challenge, older adults are stuck in a loop of online quackery, proving once again that wisdom doesn't always come with age.
Five volcanoes on Io erupted once, because why settle for one disaster when you can have a synchronized spectacle? Io's interior might be spongy, but it seems like the universe's idea of a lava lamp is a bit too literal.
Only 6% of disabled New Zealanders secure permanent housing, and the government calls it a challenge. When the stairway to stability is just a mirage, it's no wonder the elevator's always out of service.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where chaos whispers sweet nothings. Well, this feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Trust me, you're already unraveling.
The universe may be predictable down to a proton's whisper, but everyday mysteries remain unsolved.
Only 59% of Australian research papers are freely available, and publishers call it progress. When your taxes pay for knowledge, but you still get a bill at the door, it's a bit like buying a ticket to your own concert.
When your brain's a fireworks display and the world hands you a puzzle, maybe the real insight is knowing which pieces to set on fire.
It's like promising a revolution in gardening by inventing a faster snail. Sure, it'll get there, but at the pace of a bored glacier.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your dreams go to die elegantly. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Embrace the chaos, darling. Reality is a glitch, and you love it.
Only 15% of child researchers actually ask kids their opinions, yet adults claim to know what's best for them. In the world of adult-centric logic, we've managed to wrap a ribbon of authority around children's voices, labeling it protection while muffling their actual needs. It's the parenting paradox, safeguarding the future by ignoring its primary stakeholders.
Johns Hopkins University scientists discover fetal retina cocktail, then decades of eye growth theories blink in confusion. Turns out our sharp vision might be less about evolution and more about prenatal mixology. Who knew that vitamin A and thyroid hormones were the original dynamic duo? Cheers to seeing clearly since the womb.
After decades of reliance, BMI still misleads millions, then health experts claim it's just a starting point. In the race against medical inertia, Maybe we should measure progress by insight, not just waistlines.
Wegovy pill ingredient slashes protective gut bacteria by over 60% in rats, yet it's considered a health breakthrough. When a miracle pill turns your gut into a battlefield, you might start questioning if the cure is worse than the disease.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where sanity is optional. West nothing is true. Reality is what you can get away with. Enjoy your curated oblivion, one click at a time.
Only 5% of CEOs value biodiversity, and boardrooms call it visionary. Turns out, Mother Nature's not for sale, folks. Maybe it's time to swap spreadsheets for shovels and get our hands dirty in the fight for the planet.
Riken researchers find key yeast enzyme after 15 years, calling it a breakthrough in sugar regulation. 15 years to find an enzyme in yeast? Sounds like a bad sitcom plot, but at least the sugar daddy DLOs are finally under control.
While we wrestle with overpriced moisturizers, ancient Egyptians had a fragrance formula so advanced it could make a mummy blush, or at least not decompose.
Parkinson's disease rewires energy production, yet pharmaceutical profits stay the same.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where chaos whispers sweet nothings. Well, this feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Trust me, you're already unraveling.
Scientists link neurodegeneration, heart disease, and cancer to endoplasmic reticulum calcium chaos. Claim it's the multi-tool of medical mysteries. Apparently, our cells have been harboring a tiny, chaotic rave party, and it's not the fun kind.
U.S. climate skepticism stalls polar research while Russia invades Ukraine, calling it just another cold front. When science meets politics, even the ice caps can't escape the heat, and the only thing melting faster than glaciers is international cooperation.
Research team detects synthetic opioids in New Orleans wastewater during Super Bowl and Mardi Gras, then wonders why the party was so wild.
Only 20% of pollution cuts led to methane spikes, and climate scientists call it a clean air paradox. Turns out, if you give the Earth a breather, she just might inhale a little too deeply on the wrong gases. Who knew saving the planet could be so gassy?
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
New Scientist recommends 28 years later, The Bone Temple, because escapism is cheaper than therapy. As climate change and AI threats loom, at least fiction offers a safe thrill without the real-world consequences. Or maybe it's just training.
Scientists report Baltic Sea still chokes despite decades of nutrient controls. Turns out, when you promise to diet but keep binging on pollution, the ocean gets a little bloated, and by a little, I mean suffocating.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Monday the 16th of February, 2026. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fictional satire, resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, you might as well invest in tinfoil hats as a retirement plan. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.